Hey everyone, Violet here. So I have had the Harlequin Historical subscription for about a year, and in that time I have read two of them. So, look, it is not that I think these books are bad or that I am not interested. I am just really bad at reading books when they come out. But I am one of the team hosts of the Ever Afterathon, which is a readathon throughout the month of May that's focusing on historical romance. So, what better time than to actually read all of my Harlequin Historicals for the month of May. So, we have 5, and so we have the, Navy Captain's Convenient Wife by Carla Kelly. This is a Regency. Rescued by the Rakish Lord by Sarah Mallory, which is a Georgian. Fighting for His Forbidden Maiden by Ella Matthews, which is a medieval. A Fake Betrothal for the Duke by Eva Shepherd, which is a Victorian. And The Scandalous Lady Mina by Lara Temple. So, I've been trying to figure out which one of these I should read first, and I couldn't figure it out. So I'm just gonna randomly pull one. So I'm gonna shuffle these, and then we'll figure out which one I'm doing. Okay. Let's see. Alright, let's do the middle one. And we have... Okay, we're starting with Navy Captain's Convenient Wife by Carla Kelly. All right, so I will go read this and I'll let you know what I think about it. Bye. Hey everyone, so I finished my first Harlequin Historical, which was Navy Captain's Convenient Wife by Carla Kelly. So, this is about John Beatty. He is a naval captain during the Napoleonic Wars, and his first lieutenant dies in a battle, and he leaves behind a sister. So John goes to help her settle her brother's affairs when he's on leave, right when he gets back. So also John is a widower and a single dad. He has a son. And so he crosses paths with our heroine Anna and goes to check on his child and finds out that his kid was being neglected, as well as the little girl who was his companion or the hired girl servant in the house or whatever. So but he's leaving in the next day basically. So he asks Anna if she can take care of his son and the little girl. And so she says yes, obviously, because she's very nice. And then I think at one point he gets kind of sad and stressed or whatever, and they hug, but they hug in public. And because of that, her whole neighborhood thinks that they're having an affair. And the priest gets real slut-shamey about it and gets her evicted and all this other nonsense. And so when John comes back, in order to patch up the situation, they have a marriage of convenience. And it goes from there. And I think this was really solid. This is the third Carla Kelly I've read. And so I think they all involve Napoleonic soldiers during the Napoleonic Wars in some way, shape, or form. And so she's very focused on that, and she's really good at writing a lot of really cool supporting characters. Her worlds, I know that there are books where the book is just basically the hero and the heroine. That is not Carla Kelly. Carla Kelly has all of these supporting characters who all have feel like they have really rich internal lives and motivations, etc., who our main characters get to interact with and meaningfully affect. So each of the books I've read from her have meaningful subplots in them, and I think that's really awesome, particularly since these are shorter books, right? They're under 300 pages as opposed to sort of the like 400 pages range of a normal historical. So she packs a lot into her books. This one and the previous one of this series, which is called Navy Surgeon to Fight For, I believe. Both include like naval battles on page that our heroines end up getting caught up in. So that was cool. There's a lot of really cute like bonding moments and familiar moments. And this one has a lot of like kind of spy intrigue in the back half as well. Not particularly sexy, but it is like on page. The John and Anna are really flirty and very cute together. I gave this 4 stars and not 5. I think there are a couple of reasons. One, I don't think I am super... Did I give it 4 or 4.25? I don't remember. Somewhere in that realm, right? I think being in the US right now, for context, we are currently invading Iran and gas prices are skyrocketing and it's all not good. And I didn't really want us to invade Iran. Even if the gas prices stayed the same, it wouldn't be great. And so it's a little hard to swallow like the sort of like rah-rah militaryism happening here. I understand that this is a completely different time period and different countries, etc. And so like I understand the patriotism happening here regarding the military, but it's kind of hard for me to connect with on a personal level right now. So like things regarding like the sort of emotional toll that war has and stuff, that really worked for me, but like, yeah, we're gonna take down the bad guy. Like I said, it's rough. This is a me problem, but like, yeah, that's where I'm at. Also, these two, sort of due to the structure, and she even puts this in the author's note, that like John is very frequently working. He is on leave, you know, at most for like 2 weeks, but frequently it's like a couple of days that he can spend time with them. So their romantic relationship is, you know, it takes place over a long period of time for a historical, but they don't get to spend that much time together, and that is part of the tension of the book. So yeah, like, this is definitely a thing of, if you are someone who really loves a book that's just about the hero and the heroine, I don't think Carla Kelly is necessarily going to be for you. But if you are interested in a historical that's more expansive, then I do think she would work for you. And if you're interested in like war fiction in general, I think she'd be a really fun pick. So, that's this one. And so now we're going to pick the next one. And last time, I could have done a spinner wheel or something, but like closing my eyes and shuffling works. So let's just do that again. Whoop. Oh no, I dropped some. Hold on. Whoop. This is going so well, you guys. It's fine. I can't see that well because I don't have my glasses on, so it's all good. Okay. All right. I think this is upright correctly. Okay. Oh, okay. We have the medieval Fighting for His Forbidden Maiden by Ella Matthews. I should have read the blurb for this one before, but let's read the blurb here. Okay. Comtesse Jehane de Balladour is desperate to avoid marrying a cruel knight. Escaping her father's French fortress is impossible until an opportunity arises to flee with an escaping prisoner, a dashing English baron. Lucan must make it home to his young son. His accomplice, Jehan, might be enchanting, but with her father, fiancé, and the French army chasing them, she's nothing but trouble. Yet, if they are to survive the journey, he must earn Jehan's trust. Not easy, as she seems wary of all men. Lucan swore never to complicate duty with emotion, but now the biggest fight on his hands is resisting Jehan. Okay, this sounds fun. They're like on the run together. That's cute. Okay. I'm here for it. So yeah, I will read this one next and we'll see how it goes. All right, so I finished Fighting for His Forbidden Maiden by Ella Matthews. This is a medieval. It's set in 1330s, I believe, near the beginning of the 100 Years' War between France and England. So there is a King Edward, I believe, on the throne, but there are like 30 King Edwards, so like, you know. Okay, so the deal with this one, 100 Years War, our heroine is named Jehan. She is a daughter of a comte who's like a French nobleman. She is been betrothed to this guy named Urian, who is bad vibes. Bad vibes. She used to be engaged to a English lord, and she spent a lot of her life in England. But then when the 100 Years War started, that marriage contract got voided, and so she went back home. So this starts when like the first sort of French English push into France has happened. They were like doing a lot of bad stuff at that point. And so a squadron of English soldiers have been captured, including our hero, Lucan, who is this big redhead who has this like little kid with him. There's like a little kid in the group that is like clearly just sort of attached to Lucan. So she like catches Lucan's eye when like he is being walked into like the dungeons or whatever. And it's sort of a like, you know, the world slows down kind of moment, right? So she basically offers for him to, sorry, there's a bug in here. She basically says, hey, I will like help you escape if I can go with you to go back to England, because she really wants to get away from her scumbag fiance. And originally he says no, but then there's this big calamity situation. A lot of the other prisoners escape. And then so she ends up escaping with him, the little kid, and then this other English lord. So they are like on the run trying to get to England together. And this, I loved this. Okay, I was so into it. It's so swoony. It's so hard to explain like why a thing is like why you swoon at a thing, but like I felt like I could feel how into each other Jehan and Lucan were, right? Like they were just so cute. There's like a lot of points where she's like helping him when they're like he's in prison and stuff, and then like how he's constantly looking out for her when they're on the run together. It's so cute. And it just like I just loved their vibes are incredible. I love the little kid. They are like on the run for pretty much most of this book. So you do have that sort of constant tension there, and there is the thing of he feels like he can't ever like be connected to anyone again because like opening his heart is too much. He's also trying to get back to his son who's in the England, and is like, well, I love my son, and that's all the love I've got. I don't have any more in me. I'm at max capacity, even though clearly I'm obsessed with this woman. So good. And she's like very into him. They're just so into each other. There is some sexy times in here, though it's not super explicit. Harlequin doesn't tend to be super explicit. But they're both great. It just like this made me so happy. Like I was just like loved being with these two on the run together. Yeah, they're both so lovable and they're so cute, and I loved this. This was so great. Like when medieval hits, it hits so good. It hits so good. Like, yes. So yeah, loved this a lot. Okay, and now we're on to the next one. We're gonna, do the blind shuffle again. Will I drop books again? Hopefully not. We'll see. Okay, so we've got these three left. So here we go. Okay, and we have Rescued by the Rakish Lord by Sarah Mallory. So this is a Georgian. So this is the blurb. So the tagline at the top: a man of such dubious reputation that he was called Devil Blackborn. When Lord Deverell Blackbourne meets Selina Winter, he is intrigued, for she has all the accomplishments of a lady but the fiery temper and spirit of a tavern maid. Then she is abducted by a dastardly suitor, and Deverell, for all his roguish reputation, can't stand idly by. Lord Deverell is Selina's least likely rescuer, but when they're stranded together in a snowstorm and her reputation is at risk, he surprises her with a gallant proposal. Deverell's no honorable suitor, yet his actions say otherwise. Just who is the real Devil Blackbourne? Selina is determined to find out. Okay, alright, we've got a, compromise situation. This is in a snowstorm. I'm kind of shocked that they, had a Maid book that's set in the winter, proper winter time. But yeah, so this will be my next Harlequin, and I'll get back to you when I've read it. Hello everyone! So I have finished Rescued by the Rakish Lord by Sarah Mallory. So this is about Selina Winter, who is the daughter of a landed gentry guy, but she's entitled. She has basically been maintaining her father's various businesses and estates, etc., since the death of her mother, and is sort of his companion, as well. And so her father owns an inn, and so at the inn, she's occasionally hopped in there and helped with the business probably a little more than she's supposed to, including helping out as a tavern person at one point, and sort of breaking up a brawl, which is how she runs across Lord Deverell Blackbourne. He is the youngest son of a marquis, and he sort of helps her with that situation, and they meet, and they're kind of flirty or whatever, but he doesn't know who she is until they cross paths at a, country dance, I think, later in the week or whatever. And so he's immediately pretty interested in her, but she doesn't want him to reveal, all of her business stuff, and also later starts to believe that that he has made a wager that he will, seduce her, right? Meanwhile, she has this awful neighbor named Fremington, and he and his family are really gung-ho for her to marry him to combine their estates or whatever. So when Fremington decides to kidnap her, Deverell is there, sees it sort of happen and follows them, and then all three of them get snowed in at this inn, and so it kind of goes from there as he's kind of helping her get out of this situation. And they're also forced proximity stuck together, right? So, this was fun, but not a standout for me. So the first 50 pages of it I thought were kind of slow and a little weird, and I didn't love how the ending chunk was handled as well. The middle section of this, when they are at the cabin, was actually pretty fun. Though I will note that there is a sort of attempted sexual assault in the book, so just keep that in mind. Does not come to fruition, and it's not the hero who does it to the heroine. So yeah, but the middle section at the end I thought was fun. That's where their banter hit the most, and where they're really starting to get to know each other and stuff like that. So I enjoyed that part of it. But yeah, it was kind of clunky to start and kind of clunky to end, so I'm giving this 3.5 stars. So I enjoyed it, but it was my least favorite of the group so far. Although I am curious, this is, to my knowledge, one of the first Georgians I've ever read, so I'm curious if some of my disconnect was just sort of not knowing what the tropes of Georgian are. I feel I know what Regency tropes are, I know what Victorian tropes are to some extent. I don't think I know what sets Georgian apart necessarily. So that might have been part of my kind of disconnect with this. I was looking at reviews of this, and one person was I feel this felt really properly Georgian, and I was I don't know what properly Georgian is. So this might be a me thing. Need to do more research on what Georgian vibes are and stuff like that. But yeah, solid, but not my fave, is where I would put this. Okay, so we have 2 more to go. And because of that, I feel like the blind thing isn't going to really work. So I figured we should just flip a coin. So the last two we have are A Fake Betrothal for the Duke by Eva Shepherd and The Scandalous Lady Mina by Lara Temple. And because this fan kind of looks like tails anyway, I'm going to say I think this is a nickel. Whoop. So we'll say heads is the Eva Shepherd and tails is Lady Mina. Okay. Okay, we are reading next The Scandalous Lady Mina by Lara Temple. So I will read this and I'll get back to you when I'm done. Hello! Okay, so full disclosure, it is late June. I wanted to finish this in May, so that's how life is going. Okay. I just finished The Scandalous Lady Mina by Lara Temple. So this is Victorian. It's a standalone. The setup for this is a little complicated, so go with me. So Mina is our heroine. She was engaged to this guy named Peter. And during the summer she was engaged to Peter, she sort of became the secretary to his cousin named Max, as Max was like recovering from influenza or whatever. So, then, for reasons that aren't entirely clear, she, like, breaks it off with Peter and says she's, like, going to marry someone else, but then just, like, disappears, like, flees the country, basically, with her mom. So, 10 years later, Mina is a governess. She comes across one of Peter's uncles, who works in like the opera and like the theater world, and he has an opera singer that he is trying to debut in England, but he wants her to be more socially polished. So he hires her to be her like social polisher, basically, on this yacht to go back to England. Which also happens to be a boat that Max is on. And so this is a enemies to lovers sort of second chance situation, because it turns out that they both had some feelings for each other back in that summer, but then it's like, well, why did Mina do all of this stuff, you know? And so, yeah, it sort of goes from there. So, I liked this, but I didn't love it. The pacing was a little weird for me. I think there was, like, a lot of points where the flashbacks were, like, trying to do some heavy lifting that didn't always quite land for me. The boat section, I think, is kind of slow in some parts. Things really pick up when we get to London, in the back half. That's where a lot more of the supporting characters really get to shine, which is, like, a lot of Max's extended family, providing much delightful mess throughout. Septimus, the uncle, who is the meddler of all meddlers, ended up being my favorite character from this book. He's delightful. And his philosophy is basically, I think he says at one point something like, every crisis or scandal is an opportunity for publicity, right? So, like, basically, like, all press is good press is the vibe, right? And so he was very fun and very conniving. And so I really liked him. There, in the boat section, like, the highlight of the boat section for me is there is a little girl on the boat who clearly is on the spectrum, and she's very interested in boats and mechanics of ships and stuff. And both Mina and Max, like, really, like, encourage her in that and like try to communicate to her parents that like it's good for her to have passions and stuff like that. So that was very sweet. Mina and Max are okay characters. I think her, like, when we figure out her reason for why she left, it makes sense, and why she sort of like burned her bridges in the way that she did. Like, I was like, okay, that's fine. Max is he's very, like, he's so mad at her. He's so mad at her. And, like, what's funny is, like, multiple people are like, it's been 10 years and Peter was happily married and has children now. So, like, Max, maybe you should get over it a little bit. And he holds on to it for so long. So, yeah, there's a lot of them, like, banter fighting though it feels more like fighting than banter in a lot of ways. So I think if you are like really into that brand of Spitfire relationship, which sometimes I can be, this one it didn't quite click for me. But yeah, the supporting cast really bolstered this. I like absolutely cackled. There's like a party that happens near like 2/3 in that involves like her and a lot of Max's family that I adored to pieces. It was very, very fun. Just real sitcom, and then everyone comes in to heighten the mess over and over again. So that was very cute. I'd be down to read more Lara Temple. This is not her first book, though. This might be her first one in a while for Harlequin, because I don't think I own any other ones of hers. Or not very many. But she has a pretty storied career for them. So yeah, this was cute. Had a lot of like fun parts to it. I'm just curious if I had like a different couple dynamic, if I would like Temple's work more in a different book. So yeah, good time, not a new fave though. And finally, I'm going to be reading A Fake Betrothal for the Duke by Eva Shepherd. I love the color of her dress. It is so pretty. Okay, so this is the second book in the Wayward Wallflower story. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I actually read the first Wayward Wallflowers. It is a mistletoe match for the Earl. Came out in December of last year. I love this cover. It's so cute. I thought this was incredibly fun and charming. Just like really light and bubbly as a book. So I'm excited to read the next one in the series. Okay, so here is the blurb. Suddenly engaged to a man she'd never marry, Miss Margaret is dreading her 4th season and her mother's relentless matchmaking, until none other than rakish Jacob Ashford, the Duke she loves to hate, shocks her with a plan that could benefit them both. With scandal on the horizon, Jacob needs a veneer of respectability, which a fake engagement guarantees. And who better to be his fiancé than the wallflower who can't stand him and will never want to wed him for real? Yet he's captivated by Margaret's wit and honesty, and when they're caught in an unexpectedly passionate kiss, their bluff is about to be called. So this is a Victorian. So yeah, I'm excited to read this one. Will I get this done in June? Probably not. I'm sorry. June's been a good month, but like for YouTube, no. Okay. I will talk to you all later. Bye. Hello! It is July. I had so many plans, and none of them happened. Okay. A Fake Betrothal for the Duke by Eva Shepherd. Last of the May 2026 books. Okay. So, this is about Margaret and Jacob. Okay, so Margaret and Jacob meet, I think, at a house party. Margaret's mom is a little intense about her getting married. But Margaret is very much a wallflower. She draws a lot of, like, she's really into art. That's the thing she really wants to do. And so I think he comes across her, like, their meet cute is that he finds a painting that she'd made, but she'd left in the room. That's like a caricature of like a party they were both at the house party, and or like a dance or whatever. And so like they meet that way because she comes in to get it back, and then they're like verbally sparring or whatever. And then like the mom comes in and she's a lot, and like then there is a letter that he gets, which is that a woman that he had been having an affair with is married, and that her husband was threatening to sue her for adultery. And so he thinks that the best way to get out of the situation is to become respectable. And how does one become respectable? By becoming engaged. So he's like, hey, Margaret, why don't we pretend to be engaged? Because I need to like clean up my reputation right now. And she's like, avec moi? And he's like, well, you clearly don't like me, so this seems like a solid choice. And she's like, fine. So they decide to be fake engaged. And then, as the blurb says on the back, so I don't feel bad about saying it, they get caught making out in a carriage, and then they gotta get married for real. And then what are they gonna do? So, yeah. This was very cute. I'd read the first book from this, which is called Mistletoe Match for the Earl. Actually, I'll go get it. 1 second. So this is the first book in the series. This is the Wayward Wallflowers books. I think there's going to be 3 of them. It's like a friend group of ladies, right? This one is Alice, this was Margaret, and then there's a character named Primrose who's probably going to be the 3rd one. So, I read this in December of last year. It was super duper cute and fun. So I was excited about this one. The problem was that I hit kind of somewhat of a reading slump, so it took me way longer to read this than it should have. But, this was very, very cute and fun. It's not particularly complicated, but it is very bubbly. They are very cute together. There is the reason he's a rake is because, of course, daddy issues and mommy issues. But not to spoil it, part of that gets resolved in this book, and that was probably my favorite part of it, because they go back to his family estate, and he kind of deals with some of his family ghosts a bit with her help, and that was very sweet. The resolution to the 3rd act breakup was adorable in here as well, and the epilogue was super cute. So I gave this, I think, 4 stars. It was very, very sweet. So I think I liked the first one a little bit more, but this was very, very fun. It's very bubbly, fun Victorian book. Okay, and with that, I have finally gotten through all of the May 2026 books. Have I read a single one for June? No, I haven't. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so the first one I read way back in May, Navy Captain's Convenient Wife by Carla Kelly. We had Fighting for His Forbidden Maiden by Ella Matthews. Rescued by the Rakish Lord by Sarah Mallory. The Scandalous Lady Mina by Lara Temple. Oop. I knocked the other book off, so I'll just... Okay, The Scandalous Lady Mina by Lara Temple, and Fake Betrothal for the Duke by Eva Shepard. And if I was going to rank these in order of my preference, at the bottom here we're going to do Rescued by the Rakish Lord. This was the Georgian one. Scandalous Lady Mina, Victorian, on a boat, on a yacht. Fake Betrothal for the Duke, just talked about it. Navy Captain's Convenient Wife, Marriage of Convenience, very heavy on the war stuff. And finally, Fighting for His Forbidden Maiden by Ella Matthews, which was a 5-star. I adored this. Harlequin Medievals, I have had a really great time with. So excited to read more from her. So, did I learn anything from this? Did I learn anything? I mean, I will say I think 4 of these people were new to me, so that's exciting. And yeah, I think overall, I don't think any of these were poorly written. I think they were all very solidly written books. Just sort of a personal preference regarding tropes and stuff like that. And I like this length of book too. It's 270-ish pages, which is not a novella, but not long enough to really run into any pacing or dragging issues. You do have to move at a pretty fast clip. So yeah, I don't think I will be doing aggressively assigned TBR videos much in the future. I think that's part of why I hit a bit of a snag in the past couple of months. like, I want to keep going with the, like, reading down historical romance. But that has a little bit more randomness to it, which is nice. This, I think, is... I've done a lot of, like, assign my own TBR things, and it's clearly not where my brain is right now. So, I probably will not be reading, like, all five of the, you know, the books in a row again. But, this was fun. But, yeah, that is gonna be that. And I will talk to you all later. Bye!